So, today I'm going to be telling you about something that is extremely counterintuitive. So, if you're the kind of person who doesn't like their opinions being challenged, you're gonna click off this video in the middle of it, so might as well do it now instead of wasting time and feeling offended and then clicking off of the video. So, if you're the kind of person who is disgusted by that why would I click off the video that's gonna tell me the truth even if I hate it? Well then, you're the kind of person who should watch this video. So, if something is your fault, that's a blessing. Now that is the title of the video, which is probably why you clicked, because you just thought I was gonna say something stupid, or you were genuinely ready to learn something. If something is your fault, it's one of two things that can happen, right? Afterwards, either you learn something from it, which is like so that you don't repeat it, or even better, you learn how to correct that, or like how to never do it again, which is like they basically overlap, right? That is so much better than it being someone else's fault and you having no control over it, because it is someone else's fault. They're in power, right? So you're giving them power. It doesn't even have to be a person. Anything that happens, if it's something else's or someone else's fault, you're giving them power. So if you want to be in power all the time, which I mean, come on, you do. Don't lie to yourself saying that you don't want to be in power, because it sounds like egotistical, which it does. Honestly, it does. But that's the good kind of ego. Not the bad ego which hurts other people. It's the good ego which helps you out without causing harm to anyone else or yourself. So, if you want to be in power of everything, start blaming yourself for everything. Now, if you're smart, you've already understood what I was saying. But if you want to, if you haven't understood, well, I can go deeper into it. Let's say I'm drinking water, right? I know, it's in a mug, but I'm drinking water. Let's say I spill it on myself. Now, I could blame it. Oh, the mug was slippery, or no, it was just the wind came and like it blew the mug out of my hand, say some stupid ass bullshit excuse. What's that gonna do? Like, what's the benefit of it? I won't feel guilty, which this is like temporary guilt. This is not the permanent kind of guilt of like watching porn. This is temporary guilt, because once you learn your lesson and you say, okay, lesson learned, hold the cup like a fucking human. Don't hold it like, or whatever you do to spill like water on yourself. So that's temporary guilt, which is then replaced with knowledge. Now, what are the disadvantages? Well, you'll never learn. This is gonna happen to you a million more times. Do you want that to happen a million more times? No, of course you don't. So, if you tell yourself, okay, I'm a fucking idiot, this mug is designed so well for me to hold it. It literally has a handle. It's basically foolproof, and I'm still such an idiot that I dropped the water on myself. What can I learn from that? Well, how'd the water fall? Maybe I was holding it like a dumbass, right? Like this. No one does this shit, but like, this is an example, right? And I turned it and it fell. Lesson learned. Don't do that ever again. And the lesson is gonna be deeper in my mind, because I have faced a consequence which, people complain about this, honestly. Like, you'll see these memes of how I remember the most fun time with bro, and it's like 144p, and how I remember some cringe ass memory from 20 years ago, and it's in like 2160p. That is a good thing. If you think about it, if you're a positive person, you'll understand that is a good thing, because now I have learned not to spill this on myself, and because this was a bad experience, it's gonna be even more vivid in my memory. That's a good thing. Don't think of it as like, oh man, all the good memories, oh, they just vanish, all the bad memories, that's why I'm so depressed. No, that's a good thing. And I know now the topic is changing, but depression is a blessing. Yeah, I know it sounds stupid, yeah. Once again, like, I'm sure even the blaming yourself and everything that's your fault is a blessing sounded stupid at first, right? But now it makes more sense after I've explained it to you. Now I'm gonna say something more that's gonna sound stupid again until I explain it to you. So, depression is a blessing. I have been depressed. I was 11, 12, and firstly, maybe my mind matured faster than most people's, but at 11 or 12, I already had the dream of having children and of living in a house that is like big enough to fit, like big enough to be classified as a city. Like those were the kind of dreams I had. Now, I was never greedy per se, like I never had a love for money. My love was for having people to provide for and providing for them, which I think is something every good man goes through a phase in their life, which for for good men that phase lasts the entire life. But for me it hit me at 11, which is probably too early, which was, it's a bad thing that it happened, but once again everything is a blessing if you think about it. So that's what led me into feeling extremely depressed. And I think this was around 2021, 2022. I spent those years feeling depressed. And then 2023, when I discovered self improvement and I discovered faith, it felt like I was being born again. And it felt like this is a not just a new phase of my life, that is an understatement. I think a lot of men, like, I'm only 15, but most people go through this. I went through this at 13. Most people go through this around 18, 19. That they were like completely. I learned this term from Hamza, FTE, fuck this event. I went through it at 12, 13. Now, most people go through it at 17, 18. And honestly, their FTE is way more intense than mine was. Mine was in my head. Theirs is usually like real life, like they're broke, they've gone to university, they can't pay it back, like those kind of things, right? Which luckily I was educated enough at a young enough age to understand that post, like, after basic education it's basically completely a scam. So it's a blessing that I was depressed, and it's a blessing if you are depressed. It's a blessing because that depression, once you have some faith. And now I know it sounds impossible. I know if you're new to this, it's gonna sound impossible and you're gonna think I'm an idiot right now. But just try it. Through God and through faith, you can turn depression into power. Don't believe me? Well, I hope you're smart enough to know that God is like the most powerful. No, I can't even call it an entity at this. I can't even call God an entity at this point. He is so powerful that if you give your life to him, he will take the depression. So you know physics, right? Energy can only be converted, neither not destroyed, right? So he will take the depression and turn it into power like that. It won't even take long. You will feel it. You will feel your depression turning into power. Now that power will be in the form of negative energy, but if you're someone who goes to the gym, you know that some of your best workouts, which felt like shit, but you hit like a PR, were when you were depressed, when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling angry. Like anger is such a good motivator in the gym and in life. If but most people, like 99.999, literally three nines after the decimal, that percentage of people do not know how to use anger. If you know how to use anger, which I'm not gonna say I know how to, I'm still learning. But if you master how to use anger, not to discard it, to use it, that anger and depression and anxiety is also super underrated as a form of energy. These three, they will skyrocket your power, like, and your mental strength and your physical strength, because they're connected, right? Now, I've heard a lot of people say that when they pray, they like, I saw this reel on Instagram that when I prayed I didn't gain anything, but I lost my anger, my anxiety, my depression, and other things too. Now that's great, but what that actually means is that they didn't lose it. You don't lose energy, it gets converted, right? Their anger, their depression, their anxiety, God turned it into power. That's how strong God is. That's how capable God is. No one can do that, right? Only God can. So it's like a no brainer. Like, you don't even have to think. You don't even need to have a brain to give your life to God. It's like, why wouldn't you? Like, why not? like just think about that. Why not give your life to God? It's like there's no reason that comes into your head, right? And if it does, then you're just coping. Come on. I know some idiot is thinking like, whoa, life is harder if you have to do the right things. Yeah, really? Have you tried doing the wrong things and seen how hard life is? Because I've been on both ends of the spectrum, right? And I'm so lucky that I've been on both ends at the young age of 15, so that now I know much more than most 45, 50-year-olds do about, like, the consequences of doing the wrong actions and the rewards of doing the right actions. And there's this philosophy that the emotion you feel right now, you're gonna feel a much greater emotion in the future. So if you're feeling sad right now, or you're feeling bad that you have to do something, you're gonna feel much happier in the future than if you do the happy thing right now of like lazing around. You're gonna feel much more regret in the future. So might as well just feel bad now, right? It's an investment. Might as well feel bad now and feel great later. Like, why not? So this video is actually much longer than most of my videos. It's been already 12 minutes. And if you've watched all the way through this video, that is insane. Just a random 15-year-old talking about something. Literally, most of this video is me talking about spilling water. Actually, I'm thirsty. Not meant to talk for that long. So, yeah, your attention span is absolutely insane. So, that's all for this video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And don't forget to thank God for everything good in your life.